Hey everybody, I'm Logan Alec. I'm a CPA on Choice Tax Relief. We help folks who owe the IRS big money, as well as those who have multiple years of unfiled tax returns that they need to get back in compliance for. And that latter situation is the situation that I'm talking about today. I'm looking at Reddit, at this Reddit thread created by Terra 2 Mars Carpool Dad. Wow, that's a mouthful. By the way, I have my own subreddit. It's just r/tax relief. If there's any Redditors out there who want to ask me a question, that's the place to do it. Okay. All right. So basically, this is quite long, so I'm going to read it, and I'm going to share my thoughts on this individual situation. But first, I didn't even notice this when I was looking at it earlier. Horns Iliad of the IRS. I'm really okay. He spelled Iliad wrong. There should just be one L. Forgivable. I'm really hoping he didn't mean Homer here. Because Homer wrote the Iliad, right? And that Horn is his name, even though that's not really apparent from his username. I'm really hoping. Anyway, Horn's Iliad, the IRS, filing original 1040F. I don't know what the F means. Returns for 15 through 24 all at once. Why'd you go back to 2015, bro? Maybe we'll see in the discussion. Okay, we're just subheading to my tax filing. Okay, so first is the Iliad, and he's Achilles. Now is my tax filing Odyssey, and I guess he's like Ulysses now. Tackling 2015 through, okay, this is confusing. 2015 through 23, this is 15 through 24, all at once, a cautionary tale. Is this AI? Is this like ChatGPT or something? This is kind of suspicious with the very low karma there, but anyway, okay. Let's just assume this is real. I want to share my ongoing, because I don't know who would post this, right? There's not much karma farming in the tax subreddits, okay? I want to share my ongoing experience filing delinquent tax returns for years 2015 through 2023, as it might serve as a helpful, PTSD-inducing, or cautionary story for anyone in a similar situation. I'll try to keep this structured and chronological for clarity while highlighting the key challenges and lessons learned. This journey began in January 2025, motivated by my realization that I had already missed the deadline to claim refunds for 2020, correct, due to the 3-year statute of limitations for refund claims, along with any associated stimulus payments. My primary goal was to secure the 2021 refund before that window closed as well. The deadline for 2021 claims is typically April 2025, correct? So time was of the essence. Okay. Getting started, the preparation phase. I dove in head first, using TurboTax for the most recent years, as it supports filings up to 3 years back from the current tax season. This allowed me to prepare returns for 21 through 24 electronically. However, Intuit only permits e-filing for the current year, 2024 taxes filing in 2025. So the prior years had to be printed and mailed. So kind of time out here. While TurboTax and most other retail tax softwares do only support e-filing for the current tax year that's being filed now, when we do folks professional tax software like we use at Choice Tax Relief, we can e-file back not just the current tax year, but also the preceding year and the preceding year, right? So 3 years, and that's the max, not just with the limitation of our filing software, that's a limitation that the IRS sets, right? So that's kind of one reason to maybe, use a professional, because it's just, e-filing is a lot faster and more efficient, and you don't have to deal with the mail. For the older years, 2015 through 2020, I handled everything manually. This involved downloading and completing forms from the IRS website. Wow. Okay. So this individual actually, they went to irs.gov or irs.gov, 1040 forms, 2015, right? They actually pulled the 2015 1040, and it sounds like they're saying that they just download this PDF and like filled it out by hand or like by typing in there. Whew. I mean, okay, let's see how this turned out. I'm just saying that's like a recipe for like mistakes and math errors. Anyway, a significant hurdle was missing W-2s from past employers, which I addressed by submitting Form 4852, substitute for Form W-2 for each affected year. That's really not necessary if you have the transcripts. I rely on the wage income transcripts available through my IRS online account as supporting evidence for wages and withholdings. Okay, once all returns were prepared, I consulted a CPA for a thorough review in February 2025. To my surprise, she was highly impressed with the accuracy and completeness of my self-prepared filings, especially given the complexity of spanning nearly a decade. Now, I didn't really see much complexity here. It kind of sounds like this individual is, just mostly has W-2 income, which is not terribly difficult to input into a tax return, but okay. To my surprise, she was highly impressed with the accuracy and completeness of my self-prepared filings, blah, blah, blah. She even extended a job offer on the spot, and honestly, I think I could have got a date with her right then, too. Okay, this is a little... It's a little weird, right? Like, you think... look, I'm a CPA. I've hired a lot of people over the years, both in corporate and in my own firm. I'm not just handing out job offers to somebody because they could do a W-2 tax return and TurboTax. And this, I don't know. I think I could have got a date with her right then too. This just sounds weird, and I don't know. There's something seems odd. Like this stuff too. Something seems a little odd, but we're gonna go with it. Packaging and submission. Following expert. This, I've used ChatGPT a bit. This seems ChatGPT-ish. Anybody else? Anyway, it's almost like maybe this individual like put some of the facts of his situation into ChatGPT, and he told ChatGPT, make this interesting. And ChatGPT put the heading about the Iliad and the Odyssey and the CPA. Anyway, packaging submission, following expert advice. The CPA recommended including a cover letter with the complete packet, explicitly apologizing for delinquent filings and explaining my personal circumstances, e.g. life events that led to the delays, such as my divorce in 2018, and a table of contents as to what each package contained as far as documents, and what those documents were for, if supporting evidence for filings. Importantly, I noticed that the delinquency would only cost me potential refunds every year, showed a refund due, with no additional taxes owed to the IRS. Okay, this is... I would not do this. I would submit each return in a separate envelope. There's no reason to apologize because you're not going to be hit with any penalties if you're in a refund position every year. Okay, so that's kind of a waste of time. This table of contents, no, just don't even fool around with that. Just separate returns for each year in a separate envelope. Okay, that's what they want to see. To organize a submission, I divide the return into two sub-packages with one main envelope. 2015 through 18 filing jointly, aligning with my marital status at the time. Okay, did you get your ex-spouse to sign these returns? Right? Looky. This is the old 2015 and 40, but looky. If a joint return, both must sign, right? Because when you do a joint tax return, that's binding on both spouses. It's creating a joint and several liability for both spouses. It's kind of concerning, too, that you didn't pull your ex-spouse's data, and I don't even see in here any mention of the ex-spouse signing. Whew. Yeah, anyway. 19 through 24, filing as head of household reflecting the change post-divorce. Okay, it seems that this individual has a dependent. Where did they say? Okay, so here's it says 24. Okay, so he did do 24. I mean, he said 23 here. Okay, I'm just gonna assume this 23 here is a mistake, and he means 15 through 24, like he says up here. Okay, I mailed the entire package to the IRS Service Center in Austin, Texas via certified mail return receipt requested on February 26, 2025. The receipt confirmed delivery shortly after. Oh. Wow, the waiting game, the doldrums on the open seas of the IRS. Wow, he's really, really going for that. Progress and roadblocks. Boat blocks, okay. My 2024 refund arrived smoothly within 3 weeks. A positive start. However, the rest has been a prolonged ordeal. As of today, my IRS transcripts still indicate no return filed for years after 2018 except for 2024. Despite this, there have been signs of activity. I received various notices, including a request for identity verification specifically for the 2021 return, which I completed promptly. Now, it's not unusual, guys, for this identity thing to pop up, right, when you file for the first time after having not filed for years, so that's not too unusual. Transcripts for additional years have appeared over time, suggesting internal processing but without resolution. 2021 transcript shows transaction code 810 refund freeze dated May 1st, 2025, and code 971 miscellaneous review notice issued dated May 29, 2025, indicators of holds for further examination. So just, this could be any number of things. I'm gonna bet. Let's see, which one did you do by hand? Okay. All right, so you did 21 through 24 in TurboTax. Interesting. Okay, so I doubt there was a math error in TurboTax. And you got your transcript stuff, and what do? You filed head of household for that year, right? Interesting. If you're just W-2, I'm not sure why it's being held. Miscellaneous review notice issued. This generally means it sounds like there's some kind of a mistake or something on the return, at least in the IRS's belief. So I'd be curious to know what that is. Obviously, it's, you should have received it by now. Anyway, repeated calls to the IRS have yielded limited insights. The only way I was ever able to finally get through after solid months of calling. Months of calling. Wow. Okay, and I'm trying to paint a picture here, guys. The moral of this story, sometimes it's better to pay a professional to do it for you, right? So you don't have to go through the brain damage of doing it, and then look at this, calling the IRS to follow up, and that's what we can do for you. The only way I was ever able to finally get through after a solid month of calling was to tell the AI hardship. Once talking to humans, agents informed me they couldn't access the returns to identify specific issues. This led to a referral to the Taxpayer Advocate Service, TAS, versus. Look, guys, we handle a lot of returns for people in this situation. We rarely, if ever, have to get TAS involved. Okay? Because we have a process, right? And we know how to discreetly get taxpayers back in compliance without flagging everything X, Y, and Z. Okay? After a 30-day wait, a TAS representative contacted me today. They explained that the processing delay is likely tied to my filing status change from MFJ to HOH post-2018 divorce, causing a systemic hang-up. Yeah, I'm going off on a limb here, and I'm assuming that this individual's spouse did not sign the returns that he filed married filing jointly, and that he didn't report his ex-spouse's income on those married filing jointly returns, and then this is causing issues. Okay, see, this is something that a tax professional would catch, but he said like a CPA reviewed all this stuff, which leaves me kind of scratching my head. So either the CPA doesn't know what they're doing, or he made the story up about the CPA, or this individual did include the spouse's income, and the spouse did sign the returns, the ex-spouse, and he just didn't, for whatever reason, mention it, even though the whole odyssey here, he's fairly descriptive with it. Anyway, unfortunately, resolution can take at least another 30 days, if not longer, and requires me to resubmit all returns, proof of mailing, such as certified receipt, and documentation verifying my filing status, such as divorce decree. Okay. Lessons learned and next steps. This process has underscored the importance of timely filings, even when refunds are due. The IRS doesn't make exceptions easily, and backlogs can turn months into a nightmare. If you're facing delinquent returns, I strongly recommend using IRS transcripts early for accurate data, consulting a professional for review, even if you prepare them yourself, documenting everything meticulously, including cover letters and organized packets. Keep everything patience, as IRS processing for paper returns, especially delinquents, can exceed standard timelines significantly. I'm currently at 22 weeks on Wednesday. Going to keep the thread updated. Anyone look? I don't know what this guy did. Okay, but here's my read. I think there's a lot of mistakes with his returns. Mistakes that if he had simply paid professionals who have literally filed thousands of delinquent returns on behalf of hundreds, if not thousands, of taxpayers, probably wouldn't be in this position, right? Because my team and I do take on these kind of projects a lot for much more complicated situations than someone with just a W-2. I mean, we do it for people with just a W-2 like this individual, but we do it for much more complicated situations as well. And we never have big issues like this, okay? Because I think it's kind of because we know what we're doing. And, the software thing probably helps as well. So I think it's just a culmination of maybe the ex-spouse's income's not on the return, even though it's married filing jointly. Ex-spouse didn't sign the return, even though it's married filing jointly. Probably some math errors, potentially, or other mistakes, or missing forms on the years that he filed by downloading the IRS form from the IRS website, right? So I think a combination of factors here has caused the IRS to flag all these individuals' submissions for review, with the exception of the current year 2024, right? And that's not super uncommon. So that's my read on this, right? Honestly, I mean, this is why, it seems simple, right? Hey, I did my tax, people think I did my tax return on my own for years. Okay, I got behind. I know how to do taxes. Just put it in TurboTax and do it for the last, however many years you need to file. Yes, but there's always things you need to think about, and things you may not think about if you're not doing this day in and day out. Okay. Not to make this a big commercial for choice tax relief, but really, if you have multiple years of unfiled tax returns and you know you need to get in compliance, right? Because you know the IRS is going to go after you sooner or later. Or maybe you need it for another reason. You need to file taxes for another reason. Or maybe you just don't want to lose your refunds, right? Then you qualify for a free consultation with us here at Choice Tax Relief. Give us a call, 866-8000-TAX, 866-8000-829, or you can go to choicetaxrelief.com, fill out the form on the website, and we'll reach out to you. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I have some other videos about unfiled returns here on the left-hand side of the screen for your education and enjoyment. Thank you for coming with me on this video today, this odyssey of a video and a Reddit thread. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video, folks. Bye-bye.